on to our next topic. It's brought to us by Buckeye State Credit Union. If you haven't heard of them yet, meet your new favorite financial partner. Buckeye State Credit Union is a local institution offering everything from checking accounts to home equity lines of credit and auto loans with some of the lowest rates in Northeast Ohio. Their Cleveland branch is in Shaker Heights, which is one of 5 locations across the state, making it easy to find one near you. If you can't get to a branch, no problem. They make banking simple with digital banking. What sets them apart? Well, they make banking personal and convenient. At Buckeye, their focus is you. Their core values: connect, simplify, and adapt, guide everything they do, bringing people together, cutting through the clutter, and they're innovative. To learn more, visit buckeyecu.org. Buckeye State Credit Union, your money simplified. So yesterday, Kevin Durant joined LeBron James and Steve Nash on the Mind Your Game podcast, and they had some interesting comments about the future of the NBA, discussions on what works and what doesn't, and a little conversation with a caveat to one Darius Garland came up. So we're going to play a little clip from the Mind Your Game podcast in regards to Darius Garland, and I'm curious to your guys' thoughts afterwards. So this is LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steve Nash talking about the future of the NBA and one Darius Garland.
6'2" and under guard is at a premium no more as a starter. Maybe as a backup, but you have to be.
We just talked about this the last night.
It's gotten compressed.
It has.
Right? It's compressed.
It has.
It's at like either Donovan Mitchell, Drew Holiday, 6'3", or
Lou
6'4", Lou Dort, or it's you got to be.
You can't get picked on defense. That's the thing, because we play such the pick-on game that they will really, literally, if you can't guard, they will bring you up every play.
Time.
Yeah.
And if you're 6 foot, 6'1", and you're not a bulldog like a Davion Mitchell, Drew Holidays, on the defensive side, or you're not an offensive flat-out savant like Kyrie, where you can score on dudes 7 feet easily in ISO, then I just can't see it.
Darius Garland, like he's an amazing basketball player. I think his value right now, like I'm shocked, like we don't talk about him as like just amazing, like because the era, like if he played in any other era, I think he would have been like, his value would be through the roof. Like he's that skilled, he's water bug, he's got every shot, he can play make. But there's an era where it's like, okay, we also have to help that dude out defensively all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
like that's an example for me because he's such a good basketball player, right?
He's so tough.
I mean, it's just, he is. And it's like, but the defensive side of the ball is where, people will attack him. If you want a chance to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, you are going at Darius Garland most of the time on the defensive side.
G, I saw you tweet about the video after it kind of made its way around social media, so I'll let you start first. You want to expand on your thoughts to what the 3 Hall of Famers had to say?
So usually, I'm going to start naming my name G Candy, because I'm like now or later. You either mess with me now or pay the price later, because I'll be vindicated a lot. Like,
about Money Bates?
Well, no, listen.
On that one.
No, hold on. But listen.
Maybe the future.
But listen, watch this. No, listen. But I'll take Shaq's advice over anybody's. So he said he could play. So I'll stand with the big homie with 4 rings, multiple MVPs, and the people who I say is quoted. Gilbert Arenas said that Imani Bates can play. Y'all be like Tim in Strongsville said he's garbage. Well, I'm gonna take Gilbert Arenas.
I trust Gilbert Arenas over
Shout out to Tim in
Strongsville.
So Tim in Strongsville, he's still big homie. But listen, he's right, and I'm not knocking Darius Garland. I feel like I've been saying this for 7-8 years. Like, I'm not knocking him. But the problem is this. You either gotta be Darius Garland, and we've seen Kyrie here. Kyrie, I think sometimes we conflate. Kyrie up here. Darius Garland is not Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
And what happens sometimes is
you think there's people who think Darius is Kyrie Irving?
Yes. There's a lot of people in the Cleveland market feel like Darius Garland. Like listen.
Call them out. Name them by name.
We got it's called
I'm with Bull on this one. I don't think anyone thinks.
Nah, it's a 5% tax.
All right, 5%.
The 5% tax is if you want the Cleveland Cavaliers and they're good at that time, or you play in Cleveland, we inflate your whatever you are by 5%. And then
and then the 5% down. I mean, let's be fair. You guys just did that with Lonzo Ball and Ty Jerome.
We did like Lonzo, the 5%, the 5% markup
I
is
inflated
real.
Ty Jerome last year.
Yeah, Ty Jerome at one point we was like, yo, he the 6th man of the year. He the coach.
Now he's like, he can't do this. We got to get him the hell out of here.
The 5% is real. But they'll go back to what
every fan base does that.
Just a little bit, right? But to go back to what Kevin Durant is saying, he's correct. Like he's talking about just one of them. The Cavs got 2. They lucky Donovan Mitchell is built the way he is, that he doesn't get picked on that way. But also Donovan Mitchell is explosive. He's strong. He can finish. He's durable. When you got a guy like Darius Garland and they're bringing you up here every single time, and you got to battle and fight through these picks, and fight over this stuff. Guess what? At his size, people say, "Well, G. Bush, he got hurt." No, if you notice, there's a pattern of him being hurt.
Yeah.
When you're small, you're going to take that beating, and guess what? It's wear and tear on your body. But he is correct. Nowadays, it's tough because even Halliburton is 6'6". Everybody is big. They got big guys, and when you got guys like LeBron and KD who can run the pick and roll, who can see over people, and can actually dribble the ball too, they got a mismatch on you night and day. And it's just something that I'm glad he articulated, because it's not about Darius Garland. It's about the state of the NBA and how people is going to change the game.
Man, you got 3 former league MVPs having a very, very sound basketball discussion. They clearly know the game of basketball, and they've all played in eras to where the rules was different, the style of play was different. So, when Steve Nash, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James can point out a deficiency of, say, a player, then I think a common basketball fan should pay attention and take heed to what they're saying. I don't think it's about Darius in particular either. I just think it's more about his game and how he's built. He's a 6'2" point guard that's more of an offensive guy than he is a defensive guy. He's not that big in size, and he's had injuries. And so we talk all the time about athletes hearing the noise. I'm pretty sure Darius Garland, seen this and heard this by now.
Yeah.
I have spent a lot of time talking basketball with Mike, and Mike has always said, man, there are so many things that go into being good defensively, but the biggest thing is effort. And so for Darius, you see this, and people think that you're the guy that they can pick on in order to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. I would take this offseason, bulk up, and work on everything that I need to work on the defensive side of the ball, so you can prove to people that you ain't no sucker. One of the things that he said after he was elected to the All-Star game was he was a soldier. And so, you're being challenged to grow a significant part of your game that hasn't, quite frankly, been there. He's going to be on this roster by all accounts next season. And so when he comes back healthy, this has to be something that's different. And I'll say this, to your point, the guard that the Cavs just drafted, Tyrese Proctor, might correct me if I'm wrong. ESPN has him listed at 6'6". So this narrative of small guards, even Kobe is going away from how he drafted before. He drafted Sexton. He drafted Darius Garland. Now you look at him now, he's drafting these combo guys like a Jalen Tyson and now a Tyrese Proctor, who are a little bit taller and can hold their own. They got NBA made bodies already.
Yeah, all I'm hearing is Darius Garland is highly overrated, which is something I've been saying for months, and now Mike is ready. Mike and the rest of Cavs propaganda media that has been overhyping Darius Garland, who should never have been an all-star, and his game doesn't fit the modern NBA. He's going to be hurt every year because he's not good enough. There's zero chance.
He should have been an all-star.
There's zero chance he's going to be better defensively. You know that. There's zero chance. You know that, G. Bush.
Listen,
Go
my
ahead.
issue with what they said, and it's not even the Darius Garland part. What they said about Darius is fair.
Yeah.
Everything they said about Darius Garland in that clip was 100% fair. He needs to get better defensively. I'm not arguing
He's
that
not going
whatsoever.
to. You know that.
How many
I'm
people
hoping.
can you?
Nah, you know that.
Now, listen. Here's the problem. Darius Garland is a max player. When you telling a max player that you got to do this dirty work, it's very few max players that'll say, you know what?
That's unfair though, because that would say that DG is not coachable or teachable. And Kenny Atkinson spoke to that he was one of the guys that he challenged last offseason that, you know what, you got to do more to take care of your body. You got to do more in the recovery part of things. And Mike will tell you, Kenny gave DG credit for actually improving that part of his program. And so, you know, if
I ain't saying he can't do it.
I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying.
I want to see it.
Max players is hard to get them to buy in, but he's already shown that's okay.
He shouldn't be a max player. How big is Lou Dort, by the way?
6'4".
Okay, so it's not like he's that big.
No,
I mean, he's
and
thick.
that's my point.
Yeah.
My issue with what they said is they were simplifying it simply down to height. Height is not the determining factor of whether you're good on defense or not. There are a lot of guards who are bigger than Darius who also suck defensively. There are centers. By their logic, if it was just height is everything.
I disagree with that, though, Mike.
What do you say?
I disagree with that. Like if here's why height.
The Celtics picked on Luka every single possession in the finals 2 years ago. Every single possession.
I knew he was going there.
To the point where Brian Windhorst went on the most, I don't want to say cautious, but the most calculated. He does not say stuff if he doesn't have to. Came out and eviscerated Luka Doncic for his defensive effort.
But Luka Doncic is not in shape.
My point is, you could be 6'8" and still be
You can,
terrible
but
at
what I'm
defense.
saying, what I'm saying in the basketball context, if you got somebody that's 6'8", 6'9", and he gets to his spots and he's rising up over you, and you're playing great defense, you're in his airspace.
What can you do?
You can't do anything about that. That's the part about it where it's like if I get KD to rock on the elbow, it's done data. If I get DeMar DeRozan the rock where he wants it and Darius Garland, it's over.
It doesn't matter who's guarding those guys.
Right, but Mike, I don't think they were necessarily saying that there aren't taller guys who are bad defense and that hurts the team too. But if you're short, like there are limits to how.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah. So
but it comes down, and I have an example. I'll show you guys in a sec.
Yeah.
More than anything else defensively, it is effort.
Well, why would Darius just start giving effort now? He never has in the past.
So he did in one particular game, and I'm going to show you the highlights in 1 second. Don't take
that sounds crazy.
No, we made a big deal of this. We made a big deal of this. Do you remember the game? They ended up beating the Celtics.
Yes.
And they kept switching Tatum onto Darius, and you can take the highlights now, Steve. Look at Darius's effort on these. Oh, I got to hit play. Hold on. I got to hit play. That's on me. Watch Darius's effort on these plays against Tatum in this game, and this was the whole game. They kept switching every single time.
That should have been an easy basket.
He just missed.
He missed.
Once again, offensive players are going to get to their spot
Again, Mobley saved his ass.
anytime they want.
Yeah.
All right, come on, let's keep going. Let me see.
Darius is fighting here. That is effort that you can take and you can win with every single time. But hold on, 1 sec. There are guys that don't give effort. Darius does not give this effort for 82 games over the course of the season.
I would argue
Darius
he can.
gives this kind of effort, and that's a valid argument. And if we want to go that route, that's a totally different discussion.
And that effort's not good enough.
How much more do you expect from the dude? He held Tatum to 5 of 18.
That's the limitation. That's the limitation. That's the limitation, right?
What's that?
Jason Tatum, when guarded by Darius Garland, this game went 5 of 18 in this game.
I think it's a.
What do you want to hold him to 5 of 18?
I don't buy that he
It's a one-on-one matchup. He held him to under 33% shooting.
I think Tatum just had a bad day. I don't think Darius had much to do with that.
So you don't give him any credit for a performance where he holds a guy to 5
I mean,
of 18?
I'm not watching the whole game now, but
I got every possession if we want to watch
most of those
all
plays you
18
showed,
shots.
Tatum was, he just missed shots. I don't think Darius did anything special.
Which goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you have anyone on Kevin Durant, Lou Dort, Darius Garland, Karl Anthony Towns, Evan Mobley, maybe Wemby's the one exception because he's stretched out to this super length. It doesn't matter.
But nobody's talking about guarding Kevin Durant.
G-Bush just brought up Kevin Durant.
Kyrie can't guard anybody. I mean, Darius can't guard anybody.
Darius is a defensive.
Here's what he's saying.
Gee, hold on. Last thing is all you. Darius is not a plus defender. I am not saying he's a plus defender. What they said about Darius in that clip was 1,000% valid. I am not arguing that. My point is, Darius, and hopefully by being off his feet this offseason, right? He can't work out, literally can't run, can put on some more upper body strength and put in more effort like we saw in this particular game against Boston on a more consistent basis to where when he gets switched on, which, by the way, the Cavs should not concede switches every time. That drove me nuts. They put Darius and Donovan in bad situations way too frequently against Indiana. You know how you get out of those situations? Just don't switch. G, you talked about that all last postseason. You were 100% right in that regard. They should not concede switches that easily.
I'd be right.
But by being a little stronger, being a little smarter, and putting in some more effort, you cannot be a complete negative on defense.
Percentage chance that's going to happen.
Well, he can't do anything else because he can't walk right now. So
I just
hope he puts on 10 pounds of muscle.
My thing is the when you watch that play. First of all, like you said, it's a make or miss league, right? That level of physicality that you just saw him switch on, he can't do that for 82 games.
That's why he's hurt.
That's why he gets hurt. That's why he has his jaw broke, or why he has these. When you are that small and they're switching you on Jason. And by the way, what they're saying is the league is a skilled league at this point. It's not just one or two teams that's going to do that to you. They got 3 or 4 teams that can do that to you. Like you know, if you go down the list and you look at okay, we got Jaylen Brown and you got Tatum and then you got Halliburton who's posting people up. Then you go down the list and you obviously got LeBron and SGA. And Ant-Man, they got guys on every single team that's a walking bucket if you let them get comfortable and get to where they want to go. So what they're saying is, yes, if he got 10 pounds heavier, great. He's still always going to be 6'2". And so if a guy is going to get to his spot and pull up, he's unaffected by anything that they're talking about. That is one of the reasons why I advocate for Hunter starting, because he is 6'9", right?
Yep.
And if you do have a 6'8" or 9" guy, then guess what? You don't have Max Strus at 6'4", Darius Garland at 6'2", and Donovan Mitchell at 6'2", getting picked on. You height, size, that stuff matters.
You know what's going to be interesting? Because Darius won't be playing in the beginning part of the season. If Lonzo Ball is healthy, he's going to get a lot of tick playing point guard. And it'd be interesting to see if Lonzo is being picked on the defensive side of the ball. I think Lonzo is a pretty damn good defender to be a guard.
He's 6'6".
And he's long enough, right? But to me, I mean, Mike said it's about effort. And you all are saying, well, there's limitations to that. And that's true. Darius probably would not put that type of effort up against Jason Tatum in Boston on a night-to-night basis, no matter who the opponent is. And so there will be limitations to it. I just think that he can be a little bit better if he puts in the work. I'm going to trust the fact that he's going to do it. Blind faith, call it whatever you want to call it, but we shall see.
Again, he's not. Again, let's
Darius is a pretty. I disagree with Bull. He should definitely be.
He was an all-star. Bull was hyperbolic. He was an all-star.
I think we've overrated him a little bit. A little bit.
He's a very, very good player. I want to keep saying that.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
No.
But people think you're right. People do think he's Kyrie. He's Darren Williams. That's what he is.
That's not the right name.
Not Darren Williams. What was his name?
You're close.
Darren.
Nope.
What was his name?
You got the last name right. The first name.
I forgot his first name.
Durant.
Deron Williams, right?
And so I just look at it. They saying something that's just giving you an insight to it, because look, unless you got 3 or 4 stoppers to cover up for one guy, you can have a Darius Garland. I'm not saying that Darius Garland got to go. You can have him, but you got to have some other things in that lineup that's going to protect him from that happening. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we're it's just we're in an unfortunate situation, and hopefully I'm proven wrong next year, where the Cavs are going to just sit in this. They're a good team. They're not going to win when it matters. They don't have enough championship caliber players.
I think people are still dejected because this past regular season, like I said, it was one of the best that we had seen in a while. And then the letdown in the playoffs was just tremendous.
It was wild.
And now we're sitting here knowing that no matter what the Cleveland Cavaliers do this upcoming regular season, it's going to be taken with a grain of salt, because not even the first
More
round.
than that. It's going to be ignored completely.
It's irrelevant.
Not even
for me, it's irrelevant.
Not even in the first round. We are going to be pinpointed, okay, second round of the playoffs, here we go again.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? All you could just hope and pray for is that each player take the next step in their development, and then they take the next step as a team, like in a cohesive form, and run down a wide open Eastern Conference.
And this is a scary thing for me. I've always heard of this too. Just because a big bad bully get put out, it's always another dude walking the street with a big stick.
Yeah.
It's always another goon, another dude that's saying, I'm the baddest man in America. And just because the Celtics got dismantled, just because Halliburton tore his Achilles heel, and it looks like, Damian Lillard and all these other people are in flux, there is always a bully waiting around the corner that's trying to prove themselves. And there's other teams that are on the threshold. So the Cavs can't go into the season thinking, oh, well, we didn't, by default, we're then, I hate it when I heard FanDuel and Vegas talk about they're the number one.
I don't think that's the case, though. Like, I think humility before honor is a real thing. And I think that they were humbled and humiliated based on how well that regular season was. I just seen an interview with Donovan Mitchell, and he talked about, it took him a while to get over, how the season ended, how he didn't leave Cleveland for a whole week. But he's used that as fuel to prepare him for this next season. As a guy that is a really damn good leader of this team, I think that type of energy is transferable. So all we can do is just hope is that every other player that's a core player, bless you, twice, for the Cleveland Cavaliers is matching that same type of energy, using that as fuel to be better this upcoming year.
When he sat, you noticed, when he sat there on that bench out there, was soaking it in when he took that L.
He was pissed.
He was by himself.
Yeah.
We know we got one dog. We know we got one. We just trying to get a couple more.
That's the problem, G.
We want a couple more.
Hold on,
we
real
want
quick.
a couple more.
To that point, how long did Donovan Mitchell walk around in his uniform after the buzzer? It was about 2 hours, wasn't it?
He was still in the uniform after we left, which was give or take an hour and a half.
To me, in the end, it's like you just said it. They got one dog.
They got one.
And I feel like, as an outsider, fair or not, the rest of the team is soft. And so I look at the Knicks. And all these other teams are flawed, sure. But I look at the Knicks. I think they're tougher. I look at the Magic. I think they're tougher. It's impossible for me to think the Cavs can win a series against a team that's even close to them talent-wise, because they've shown no grit and toughness outside of Donovan Mitchell in any competitive series.
I think to me, I've always said it. They could prove me wrong. Now, if Darius Garland want to go to the next level and just become like, one of the two has to do it. I don't care which one it is. It's either Darius Garland or Evan Mobley. Which one of y'all?
It's Evan Mobley. It's Evan Mobley.
If Darius Garland want to give me 25 a game, I ain't gonna be mad at it. Because guess what? We had LeBron in his peak, and you know what happened? Kyrie was like, "Oh no, I average 25 and I get the most shots. I'm that dude." And Kyrie 1 year just was like, "No, I'm him." He hung out with the Jedi Temple.
Yeah.
He went and saw Kobe. They was text messaging each other. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he got the dark shadow lightsaber and killed Steph Curry in the mouthpiece.
But Kyrie's a once-in-a-generation player.
He's an assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as they mentioned in that clip, you have to be a Kyrie-level savant offensively to overcome some of those shortcomings. Darius is not at that level offensively.
Only he wasn't such a putz off the court.
Yeah.
Love Kyrie.
Well, tell us a little bit about menu arcs before we get to your